A very good evening to everyone. A famous quote by John Austin, and I quote: "The end of law is not to abolish or restrain, but to preserve and enlarge freedom. For in all the states of created being capable of law, where there is no law, there is no freedom." Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and our viewers, a very warm welcome to all of you to this captivating talk show. It is an absolute pleasure and honor to present before you a journey of stimulating conversations, enlightening insights, and unforgettable moments. Law is an instrument which regulates human conduct and behavior. The nature of men and of organized societies dictates the maintenance in every field of action in the highest standards of justice and of right dealing. By justice, the lawyers generally mean the prompt, fair, and open application of impartial rules. In this power hour, we have the privilege of embarking on an insightful journey about the law profession with two eminent advocates who have excelled in various fields of law. Let us introduce our guests for the evening.
It's my great honor to introduce Advocate Divya Nair, who is a vibrant advocate with over 20 years of rich experience in corporate advisory, documentation, and litigation comprising of evaluating strategies, court appearances, legal drafting of agreements and pleadings. A graduate of University of Kerala, she started her career in the Supreme Court of India in 2000 as a litigating lawyer and later Delhi High Court, and then transitioned as an in-house legal counsel with the Times of India Group. She has also worked as a legal consultant to the chairperson at Telecom Dispute Settlement and Appellate Tribunal, and is currently on her independent law practice and currently runs a boutique firm specializing in corporate law, consumer disputes, matrimonial law, and startup advisory. She lives in Delhi and her interests include cooking, baking, freelance journalism, and reading. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am, Divya ma'am.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone.
Thank you for being here, ma'am.
Thank you for having me here.
Our second guest for the evening is Ms. Parul Mehra. She is an advocate and a mother of twins. Her early education is from Bhagalpur. She did her graduation from Delhi University and then went on to pursue law from Law College, Dehradun. She has worked for organizations like NHRC, which is National Human Rights Commission, but the breakthrough of her career was from working under Dr. Aman Hingurani and Ms. Priya Hingurani, advocates of Supreme Court of India. She had a very brief opportunity to work under Mrs. Pushpa Kapila Hingurani, also known as the mother of PIL, that is Public Interest Litigation. Later, she represented Delhi Police in High Court of Delhi under the office of Rajesh Mahajan. She has more than 10 years of work experience in litigation industry, working in Supreme Court, Delhi High Court, and trial courts. Her fields of expertise is family law, criminal law, and medico-legal cases. Currently, she is working as the central government pleader at Delhi High Court. A very warm welcome to you, Ms. Parul Mehra.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Our next segment is the question and answer round to get on an overview of the legal profession. So, Divya ma'am, we start with you.
Yes.
A lawyer is a professional who is trained in the field. This profession is both interesting and challenging. Could you share your journey from your student life to being an advocate?
Okay. I happened to just chance upon law. It was honestly not my first preference, but I did the 5-year course. I joined law in 1995. I passed out in 2000. So our curriculum was very different from what you children would study when you enter law college now. We had canon law, we had British law, we had political science as a subject. I think you don't have those anymore as part of the curriculum. But we had very good teachers in the college, and they opened our eyes to the the concept of law. It's not what you learn in the textbooks, it's how you understand law and how you interpret law, because that is what it comes down to. And so it's been a very interesting journey for me. I started practice in the year 2000, and I've worked in almost all the courts of Delhi. And I've appeared in courts. I argued matters. I've been a counsel, in-house counsel. So it's been a mixed bag for me so far. And all I can say about my journey is that it's been very, very interesting. The first thing I remember about law college is that one of our professors told us that law is a jealous mistress. You do not get to do anything else. If you're a lawyer, you just become a lawyer. You do not do anything else. So you all this work life balance and everything. It's a very good concept, but
Not for lawyers,
not meant for lawyers.
actually.
It is not meant for lawyer. Any lawyer who's true to his salt will never say that he has a work life balance. They don't. We don't. So but it's one profession which is very, very honest, in the sense that the remuneration that you draw from the profession is commensurate with your hard work. The harder you work, the more successful you are. I mean, there is no two ways about it. It is not dependent on anybody sitting with your book or assessing you or giving you some marks somewhere. It isn't. You should know your law, you should read your law, you should always be prepared, and you will get the money. It isn't that, it's subject to terms and conditions. It isn't. So that's the best part of the profession. You become rich.
Yes,
You become very rich. I think children nowadays, they like the fancy things. So you want fancy things, you become a lawyer. But you get to enjoy it or not is a totally different
yes,
question altogether. You will have money in the account, but you will not have time to spend it.
friend.
But
Yeah.
jokes apart, it's a very serious profession. It's a very, very difficult profession. Don't go to any court. I mean, that's a rule of the thumb that everybody follows and should follow. Don't step into a courtroom without reading your files, because it's not necessary that your senior would be there appearing in the matter. You probably would have to step up and argue, or make a point or make a submission, or you walk into any meeting with a client or anyone. You should always be prepared. You can't just think, oh, I'll do it, oh, my senior is there. It doesn't work that way, and it should not work that way. You should always think out of the box. You can make mistakes, you will make mistakes, which is okay. There is it's not a foolproof profession or anything. That's fine. Don't beat yourself up about it, but please, please be willing to work very, very hard. It is not easy being a lawyer. Any lawyer you can ask, they will never say that, oh, I had it easy, I just walked in, my father was a lawyer, my grandfather was a lawyer. That will just give you maybe your first 2 or 3 cases, not beyond that. You have to prove your mettle. And here, there is sycophancy in the profession. I'm not denying that. There is nepotism here. I'm not denying that. But most of the lawyers who are still in court, who are practicing, who are successful, are mostly first-time lawyers. So there isn't that, oh, this is that, that is that. No. But I would urge all the people, all the children who are looking forward to joining any law college, please be mindful of the fact that it is not easy. You cannot take it lightly. You should read. You should have a good knowledge of the language You should know how to interpret law. If you do not know, you should learn how to do that. And most importantly, you cannot take it, oh, I'll see to it when it comes to it. It doesn't happen that way. You have to step up. You have to work hard. You have to be very diligent in your studies of the subjects. Because now the laws have changed, the interpretation of laws have changed. You get to see how the courts function in real time because most of it is on YouTube now. You can see the lawyers argue and everything. So if you're very keen on this, you should see how it's done. Because most of the lawyers who are into litigation, they think on their feet. It isn't that they write down all the arguments and they bring it to court. Sometimes the judge throws a googly at you and you have to come back with an answer for it. You just can't say, oh, I'll come back to you with it. No, you do not say that. And it's a profession where you're holding somebody's life or their property or their money or something hostage, right? Somebody is challenging that, so you're responsible to that person. You cannot take it lightly. Your first allegiance lies to your client. Your client pays your bills. The client pays you money to appear. Your client pays you whatever money that he is scrimping or saving or borrowing or however that it is, to get you to stand in front of the judge and argue your matter. And you should be honest about it. And if you're going into corporate practice, I've done corporate practice. Again, the same thing. It's a client. Your allegiance lies to your client. You cannot do a shoddy work of an agreement. You cannot put your client at risk. Read it. Keep reading the document. You will always find something amiss. That is a rule. There is no exceptions there. Parul will also agree because
Yes,
she's
yes.
an arguing counsel. She will know how it goes in courts day in and day out. So
Absolutely.
the
Yes.
journey has been interesting. The journey has been tough. The journey has been demanding. But I would urge everybody who's planning to join law, please do it with a clear idea that it's not an easy way to, find a job or hang around or whatever. It isn't. It's a profession which is a very reputed profession. Lawyers are always looked upon with respect. And we have stalwarts of law everywhere in every court. We have giants like Falina Riman and Nani Palkiwala and Harish Salve. Everybody is there. They've come where they are because of their hard work, you know. So you all should aspire to be them, and you all should work towards, if you get into law college, then your ultimate aim should be to become a good lawyer and to do justice to the profession. That's very, very important.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah, it's good to know how resolved you've been in your life, ma'am. Thank you so much.
My first question is for Ms. Paru. How is law as a career different from other careers? How would you describe a lawyer's day?
So, law as a career, um, it is different, and actually, it is very, very different from other careers in the sense that we cannot restrict ourselves, being a lawyer, into one particular field. We have the option to explore the variety of being into a medical field by being a medical legal lawyer, or the consumer aspect of the FMCG products. We say we can get into litigation as the court aspect. So we can go in even into the military if we want to, by giving the JAG exams, which is for the, you clear your law and you go for the military judicial officers exam. So law is in itself a very, very wide field, though it seems to be just a subject that we have to study and go for the legal thing. But it just doesn't restrict us from following the field we want to explore. It is just an add-on that we can take um, for whatever field we want to choose for. For example, I take myself. I wanted to be a corporate lawyer. I started as a corporate thing, but I got bored of it very soon in my career. And then I went on to litigation. I started with doing matrimonial.
And then it started because I was very, very young. So seeing the divorce cases, it made me feel that probably it's too emotional for me. So I explored the criminal area, dealing with criminals, the high profile cases, and Delhi police. And then I got bored. I didn't get bored, but eventually I got married, had kids. So my family started saying that you should opt for a little safer side, being a lawyer. So I opted for medical legal, and now I'm doing corporate, little bit corporate also. So for just because I was a lawyer, I had that freedom to choose of what I want to do. If I would have been an MBA or any other career, or even if a doctor, my line would have been very restricted to whatever specific thing I have chosen. But I get that freedom being a lawyer. I can choose anything. I can, if today I don't like doing a medical legal thing, I can again get back to being a family law, family matrimonial cases, and everything. So this is how it is different from others. It gives us the freedom to choose the line that comforts us, that entertains us, that we like. But just because liking is not the thing, as Divya ma'am said, we have to be very, very diligent in doing whatever line we choose. So that is very, very important. Just because we have the option to explore doesn't mean just we can just keep jumping, jumping, and jumping and then choose. That jumps also have to be serious enough. That jumps also have uh, to be like in the way that our clients should have trust in us. That now, if the person has shifted from this area to this, that she'll be able or he'll be able to do our cases properly, be true to what they're doing to us. So this is the difference. This is the only color in the black and white world that we live in, that we get to choose the field that we want to be in, be a consumer lawyer or be a hardcore litigating lawyer, be a civil lawyer, deal only with the property matters, the rent matters. So everything, like lot of spheres you have in the legal field. The day of a lawyer, as we say, it's not an easy day. If it's a very hard working day. If it's an easy day, then it's a very easy day also, I can say. Like, if we don't have a court appearance, we just have the office work, it's a very chilled out day. You sit in the office, you do your work. But if it's a court appearance, then it's a 24/7 working job. I cannot say tomorrow I have a matter, then, oh, I'm sleepy, I have to sleep. No, no, no. I have to be like very, very on my foot to be prepared of what I'm going to say in the court, how I'm going to argue my matter, how I'm going to be prepared to defend my case and put my case forward. And like Divya ma'am said, judges throw googlies on us. And it's very, very common, especially on young lawyers, just to test if they've read the file, if they're prepared with the matter or not. They'll just ask some random question which might not be relevant, but since it's part of the file, you have to know it. So being a litigating lawyer, that is very, very tough, that you always have to be present. Your client will be on toes and worried, like, oh my god, what is going to happen, what will judge say. So you have to keep calming your client also, counseling the client also, that it's okay, things will go smooth, we'll handle it. And being a corporate lawyer is also not easy. You get the money, you really get a lot of money, but you don't get the time to spend the money. Because how Indian corporate works is, till 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, you are doing the work of the Indian courts. And then after that starts the international courts work, because the countries, the time difference and all. So it's like you're always working, working and working. You never go to sleep. So that is how it's not easy. But yes, the only best part is litigating lawyers gets lots and lots of vacations, probably more than school students.
That is true.
We get lots of
You're a
vacations.
Supreme Court lawyer.
Yeah, fixed vacations. So if you really want that, you want vacations like school, so you can be
Become a
litigating.
Supreme Court lawyer. Yes.
Yeah, you can definitely be litigating lawyers. You'll get ample amount of holidays. You will get summer vacations, winter vacations, Diwali vacations, Holi vacations. Everything is fixed. You don't even have to ask for vacations. So that is the best part of easy part of a lawyer's life. Otherwise, it's not easy. But it is challenging, and it is, if you really love the subject, it's very it's like you're learning every single day. No day can be a boring day if you are in court or if you are working, because it's a learning process. It's a continuous process that keeps on going and going. It never ends. Since the law keeps on evolving every single day, we keep getting new acts, new laws and everything, new issues coming up. So it's a learning process, and you have to be very open and accepting about the process, that okay, I'm ready to learn. Even after I leave the school and college, I still am ready to read the books every day. I am ready to be updated with what's happening. So it just doesn't stop there. But otherwise, it's a good thing. Right?
Thank you, ma'am. I guess the incentives of having a lot of holidays can attract some new
I'm
budding
sure.
advocates. But yeah, thank you for sharing your thoughtful insights on the unique demands and daily experiences of a legal career. It's been a pleasure hearing your perspective. Ma'am, my next question is for Divya ma'am. So, as we've been speaking about, law is always changing and new areas are becoming important, right? What are some of the new fields in law and why is it important to keep learning?
Law is never constant, it's always evolving. So that's how it has been from time immemorial, I think from Solomon's times, if I may say so. And so the new areas of challenges would be cyber law, because cyber crime is increasing. We all get those random calls of your electricity bill getting cut, or there's a police call that's being made, and your credit cards being charged without your permission, or so that's one area. Another thing is the challenge that AI is going to bring to your profession, because now Chat GPT is going to take over your drafting. So how are you going to counter that? Because everybody is relying on Chat GPT and not on a lexicon to improve their writing skills or their vocabulary skills or their oratorial skills. So how are you going to challenge that? And there's new acts that the government has promulgated replacing CPC and IPC. So, there are new provisions there which were not there before. So, interpretation of those are going to happen soon in the coming years. And then, so that is another area that, if that's for litigating lawyers also, and for corporate lawyers, because, Contract Act and everything will get affected because of those changes in the law. And IPR is intellectual property rights. So that has always been very evolving and very dynamic and very that is something that is a field which has never lost its charm, because every day a new business comes up, every day a new business comes up with a new logo or a design or a trademark, so although or a patent idea. So there are these interpretations, the case laws and the studies, um, all that is an area that should be of interest for the young generation. And apart from that, if you like litigation, so litigation is litigation. Everything is debated upon, argued upon, um, uh, operated upon every day. Every court has their own ways and means of arriving at a conclusion or a judgment or an order. And then they are all, then there's an appeal, and there's an appeal process, and there is, various courts and tribunals. So it depends upon what is that you are looking at, but the current scenario where everything is emerging and everything is, which is very nascent right now, is cybercrime. Though we have acts and laws, which 2000 we have an Information Technology Act dated of the year 2000, but that is proving not effective enough to deal with the new cyber criminals that are there in the present situations. So there are new rules, there are new challenges which are facing the lawmakers right now. So cybercrime is one, cybersecurity is another, And then artificial intelligence is the third, I think, is the new areas of uh, that would be of interest for the younger generations.
You're absolutely correct. Like when like it's a small thing that I would want to share that while taking, legal studies classes and all, the earlier book that we were talking about did not have cybersecurity. And with the new revised edition, as we speak of, it has cybersecurity and safety. So I'm sure students who are here would benefit from this and will get like, a very broader perspective as to, what are the upcoming fields and they can benefit from this. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Okay, my next question is for Parul ma'am. With the increasing amount of personal data being shared online, how would you advise people to secure their data to balance maintaining data privacy with the need for technical advancement? Ma'am,
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, sir. So, yeah, as already said about the cyber crimes and cyber security, the cyber crimes have increased many folds nowadays. We, in a good faith, share our data with the shopping websites or the bank websites or other applications. Uh, we believe that it will not be shared anywhere, but it gets leaked out, and the governments are trying to make acts to protect them by like the recent act that has come up last year is uh, personal digital data protection act 2023. So the point is ki how we can protect is only by being very careful about that where we are sharing, to whom we are sharing the data, try and not to share it anywhere which is not secured, or it's not a known page or a known app. But if we do, if something happens, if a cybercrime happens, we still have laws to report about it and try and get justice about it. But since we are not very technologically still advanced nation, we are trying and growing on that aspect. The government is trying to make laws and growing laws. Though we have international laws, we've been trying to follow them, like the GDPR. It's a European law for the data protection. You have to follow that. But India is growing, and we just can report about the crime that has happened with us. But the only ways to protect ourselves is not to share our data. Just and especially the young kids, you shouldn't believe that social media is very safe, and just do not share every and anything on social media about your personal lives. Social media is creating a data for uh, for the entire world, and because of the AI, it can be misused like anything. Like you see, photographs get morphed,
mm,
somebody else's face is pasted somewhere else, the picture, anything can come up. So just try and keep your personal lives a little more personal rather than spreading it all on social media. You want to share your life, I know, I totally understand. Share little snippets, not too much, and
Insta
that's the
accounts can
best
only
way, because
protect you so much from your parents.
I true. And like we always say, prevention is better than cure, especially in cybercrime,
mm.
because it's not easy to track the criminals in cybercrime when it comes to all these things. So I think
And
that is the best.
Instagram and Facebook gives you, especially if you're in your own friend circle, it gives you a very false sense of security.
Yeah,
That, only my friends are seeing, or I'm not sharing this with my parents or their friends, or nobody can track me.
yeah.
Not
True.
true.
It's
You know?
not true, actually. Social media is just a facade. It's
Yes.
nothing is true. It's just
Mm.
to lure
So
the
you
younger
have to be very
generation.
careful. You have to be very
Yeah,
careful.
very careful, very, and especially with the developing AI coming in the world, it's the absolutely not safe. Do not rely on Chat GPT and all these things for your studies also. It's not going to make you smart. It's going to make you dumber, in the sense it is stopping you from using your own brains. You are all intelligent enough. You all know the basics of studies, what you're studying. So try and rely less on chat GPT and more on yourself and your intelligence. It'll help you.
Go to a thesaurus, not chat GPT.
Truly. And being a lawyer, if you think that if you're going to be a lawyer and be dependent on these things, though, of course, there are a lot of formats available, a lot of information available, but that information is not going to make you a great lawyer. That information is going to restrict your knowledge and make you dependent on that specific apps and technology. So it's best that you use your intelligence. It'll help you more, make you more smarter, and make you stand special from others.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for your valuable advice on data privacy. Your insights will surely help many navigate these crucial issues.
Thank
Okay,
you.
now my next question is to Divya, ma'am. Lawyers need to write and research well, not just speak well. What tips do you have for doing good research and writing in law? Which do you think is more important skill, research skill or oratory skill?
Actually, they are not they are not something that can be bifurcated. If you are a lawyer, your oratorial skills, your your written language, your understanding of the language, and your interpretation of the codes, that is the laws and the judgments, everything, they are all symbiotic. You can't say that, oh, he's a good lawyer but he can't speak well. It doesn't work. You don't have to speak like Shashi Tharoor. You don't have to write like him, but um, you need to have the language. It is not optional. Like, if any great lawyer, uh, anyone, they probably won't be the most suave in the language or in the accent or anything like that.
Hmm.
But their language skills are spot on. Their their drafts are amazing. They're incredible. They come with the most unusual insights. So, I would urge all the children who are planning to join the profession that you have to read everything you get your hands on. Because judgment is not just about law, they narrate stories in that. There is it is like reading a short story. There is a flow to it. It's not something that, oh, you start with this law, you write this section, oh, this is my conclusion. That's not how a judgment is written. There is a narration to it. There would be quotes, there would be quips, there would be observations. So all that comes from the years of practice and the skills that the judges have. It's not easy writing an order. If it's a boring order, you will just drop into the page. You probably won't even finish that page. But there are orders by Justice Krishna here, which are like legendary, which are like reading like stories, right? So it's not negotiable. Not having a language skill is not negotiable. You have to have it. If you don't have it, build upon it. It's a language. You can learn it. It's not rocket science. It's not that, oh, I have to go back and, go to college to learn language. No, you can learn a language. It's very easy to learn a language. That's how you rewire your brain.
Hmm.
So, as far as I'm concerned, if I see a lawyer who has some 5 or 10 years of experience and I see them mumbling in court because they can't find the right word to fill in the gap, I will consider them as failures. Not because they don't have the accent or the pronunciation is wrong. No, all that doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, you are standing in front of the judge, you are representing your client. If you are not articulate enough to argue a matter, you should not have been there in the first place. And nowadays, children, they all have this Gen Z language or whatever that is. You can't say CBD in court. That would
Yeah.
not be taken very kindly. You can't do that. You can't
It
say
will
no
be just a
or
loss of
this.
the client.
Yeah, you have to have proper. I'm not saying the Queen's English, but and I'm not saying that Shashi Tharoor's English, but general English, which your English teacher would have taught you in school. You should have
That is enough. Yeah.
that much. You should know
Yes, yes.
nothing more. Because it's otherwise. Especially, see, if you're in a regional court, you argue in a regional language. Like if you're in In a lower court in Kerala, you'll argue in Malayalam. If you're in lower courts in Karnataka, you'll argue in Kannada. But the high courts always demand English.
Hmm.
No?
Yeah.
So, and in the Supreme Court, of course. But, and it's a skill that you can learn, the skill that you can hone. It's not something that is too difficult. Oh, I can't do this. No. Read. If you can't read, then don't join law. Don't join law saying that, oh, I can't read anymore. You have to
No,
read.
no. It's a continuous process.
You see a constitution by Sirvai. I mean, nobody reads Sirvai anymore, but we did. And if you can't go through the first 10 pages, then that's a litmus test, you know. So reading is very, very important. Nowadays, I don't know how many children read, but if you don't read, this is not the profession for you because you have to read. Because
Hmm.
once you writing order or you become a judge, you give a judicial exam, you become a judge. You have to be smart. You should articulate. You should understand what is written. And when you write an order, it should be clear. You don't have to go with very tough words or very difficult words to put across your point. But when you are saying something, when you are communicating through an order or a judgment, then that should be very clear to the person who's reading it. And how will you develop that skill if you don't read?
Yes.
Oratorial
Yeah.
skills, written skills, language skills, they are non-negotiable. They have to be there.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Your insights actually highlight that success in law as much as precision on paper as it is about presence in court too. Thank you, ma'am.
My next question is to Ms. Parul. What role do mentorship and networking play in a lawyer's career development?
Actually, it is the most important role in a lawyer's careership. If your mentor teaches you everything about the law from the basics in the practical world, whatever we study in colleges from books gives us the knowledge of what exists, but how to bring it into the practical life is what mentors teach us. And we keep needing the mentors throughout the life because there always be times in your career you will need some or the you will be in doubt about something or the other, may it be your career, may it be some specific cases, and these mentors come handy that time. They help you, they always help you. They give you the good insight, they give you the good the better way how to analyze that problem and solution. And about networking, law is all about networking. If you because networking is the only way to get clients, meet people, talk to them. uh, it's a way of bringing clients, enhancing your own knowledge as well, because it being a see I'm we are just humans, we cannot know everything. And in order to enhance the knowledge, we need to talk to people. We can talk people of from different fields, they tell us their experience, share it with us, and it helps us to grow as a lawyer also. Since ma'am already said oratory skills are very, very important, so networking helps us to finish our oratory skills also. Because once you meet people, you talk to them, you know how to talk, when to talk, what to talk, they teach you. So networking is the integral part of being a lawyer. You just cannot do without it. You have to have good networking, and the best way to make networking connections, especially if you're not from the city, like somebody people coming from out from Delhi to practice in Delhi, the best way to make your networking connections is be present in the court always. Even if you have work, you don't have cases, you have cases, whatever it is, be present in the court, talk to the lawyers around you. Just random, you can go say random hi, hello, and people are always helpful. The seniors always identify the newcomers, and they try and tell them what is right, what is wrong, how to do it, how to be there. And this helps you to grow as a lawyer a lot, and you really need it. So networking is definitely very, very important, and having a mentor is also very, very important. So once you come into the field, you should choose your mentor being very, very peculiar about it. because that mentor is going to help you throughout. Even like Dr. Ramaningorani is my mentor. I practiced with him some when I started my career, and it's been more than 10 years now. But still, even today, if I'm since he has educational background and whatnot, and coming from such an influential family because of his parents who have been like the first practicing lawyers of the Supreme Court. So it really helps me. I can ask all my legal issue helps with him. He helps me a lot. He tells me how to go forward, because I'm still very new in certain areas of the practice, because 10 years is basically nothing in the litigation industry. It's like you just started, you just know what law is about, how the system works, and now the real thing comes up. So having a mentor is very, very important. And networking is, though, there is no second option of not having networks in the law industry. So if you really like to, so for the students who are very outspoken, who likes to socialize a lot, law is a very good option, because you will get a lot of opportunities to socialize, and which is important also for the for every kind of lawyer, I believe, not only a litigation lawyer, not only a corporate lawyer. If you're working in a company, if you're just an in-house counsel, even then networking is very, very important. So yeah, there is no option for not being a networking thing in the
And
industry.
to add to what Parul just said, networking happens in court corridors. So if you are in litigation, if you are opting for litigation, you should go to court every day. Whether your
Yeah.
senior has a matter, doesn't have a matter, just go sit in
Yes.
a courtroom.
Yes.
First thing you will learn court craft, how to argue a matter, how do judges and lawyers communicate with each other, how do lawyers maintain the decorum in a court, how they conduct themselves in the court. So all those things can't be taught to you.
Yes.
You will
You
not
can only learn from the
you can
practical
only
experience.
see how the other people are doing it. Like the first thing that nobody teaches you is how to read a cost list. So cost
Hmm.
list is basically the list of cases that is listed before the court. There's an advanced list, there's a supplementary list, there's a daily list. Like Delhi High Court has like a million lists.
Yeah.
So so we have a weekly list, we have a monthly list, we have a yearly list, God knows. So anyway, coming back to the point is that you have, if you are opting for litigation, you have to be in court every day. Start your work in the evening, as she said, that after 4 o'clock, go back to your chambers, sit and do your work, your drafting, your meetings, your conferences, and whatever. But make it a point to be in court
In the court every
every.
single day.
Yes.
That is the only way to learn the court craft.
Only way you can learn the profession, how to argue a matter, how do lawyers manage the judge, because sometimes judges are also temperamental, they are also human beings, they aren't like all exalted and they are put on a pedestal because they are judges, but you know you need to deal with them. They're humans after all. They get angry with you, they will shout at you, they will scold you. Then how you can't scold them back, you can't fight with a
Yeah.
judge in court. So all
You
that
cannot show
court
your
stuff.
temperament.
Yes, you have to hold your tongue. There is no way in God's green earth that you can fight with a
Yeah.
judge and get an order.
Never.
That doesn't happen. That happens in a Sunny Deol movie, but not in real life.
Yes. Not in real life.
So you have to learn that, and to learn that, you have to be in court. And when you are in court, when you become visible in court, then you will get, as Parul said, you will get matters referred to you. You will be asked to assist certain lawyers in matters, and then you become your own person by being in court every day.
Yes. Being in court is the best way of networking for the litigating lawyer, especially.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate your perspective on mentorship, networking, and even the whole idea of being in the courtroom, how you understand the court craft as well. So it highlights the importance of guidance, collaboration, and also understanding the craft. Thank you, ma'am. My next question is for Miss Divya. I know lawyers can't share private case details. And without discussing any client details, can you share any interesting stories or probably something that you'd learned from your career over the years?
Yeah, over the years, I have done, like, I started off as a litigating lawyer in the Supreme Court. So there was this matter where there's this Fatehpur Sikri in Agra, which was built um, by Akbar, and the Imam there was our client. So there was this protection, there was this case against ASI, Archaeological Survey of India, and so we were for the Imam and we were arguing the matter. The matter was listed. My sir was not there in court that day. He said, just go and just see what's happening. So I went again. The first point that I made, that don't step into a courtroom without reading the file. So thankfully, I had read the and we had a very senior counsel on the opposite side. Um, and he was lying in court, very openly lying in court. And the judges were listening to him because he's a senior person. The judges were listening to him. And then me, the puny little thing I stood up and I said, Your Lordship may see this day's that order. And the judge was kind enough to lend me a ear. He heard me and he turned the page, and the order was, there was something that they were supposed to do which they hadn't. So, and the senior counsel on the opposite side was trying to hide the fact that they were not in compliance with the last order. So he was kind enough to lend me a ear, and he said, okay, you're not complying with the lie, you're not in compliance with the last order, I'm not letting you do this. And then adverse order was passed against them. So that was my first victory in court, so to say. So, but it was a very exhilarating moment for me because I never thought that, I could do that, but I did that. But only because I read the file. If I had not read the file, I could not have done that. So over the years, there were a lot of matters which I have appeared myself and been part of. So the victory that we get in court, it's though technically speaking, it's not a personal victory because it's a victory of the client's cause, but it does feel like a personal victory because you're fighting in first person. So when you argue a matter in court, you always mention yourself as I. It's my case. It's my I lost that money, or
Hmm.
my contract was defaulted. You always argue in first person. So with TD I did the Flag Telecom case, which was the first Reliance case, which was Justice Wadhwa was the chairperson then, and he had passed an order against Reliance, the first defeat that Reliance faced in the country.
Oh.
That I can say because it isn't, it's, I can say that. So over the years, I've fought a few cases. I've got very good orders in NCDRC and in the High Court. And like BCCI was our client. So we were prosecuting Ajay Jadeja and, all that. So I've been part of some landmark cases over the years. And again, being part of those big cases means that you have to work as hard as you can, because big matters means bigger volumes of
Yes,
files. So
the
you
big
have to
enabler.
know each and every page. You cannot say, oh, I don't know this. There'll be 3 or 4 juniors assigned to a matter, but every junior would know each and every page of those cases, because there would be a compilation of just case laws, there would be a compilation of just evidences, and most of these matters come from the trial courts. So you can imagine the amount of paperwork that will be there till it reaches the Supreme Court. So you should be aware of everything. So that again, that question about your reading and your research all forms part of this entire experience, and your willingness to work hard to become a good lawyer.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing such a powerful lesson. It's all together. It's not one thing at a time. It's taking or balancing everything together. It truly underscores the depth of responsibility and impact in the legal profession. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Parul ma'am, my next question is for you.
Yes.
A statistic states that 15% of lawyers in India are women. What challenges do women face in the male dominated field?
This is a very good question. So when I was in my college days, I would like to share this experience. We went for a national seminar held by our college, and we met the then governor of Uttarakhand, Mrs. Meera, Dr. Meera. She became the governor of Jharkhand later on. And so she saw us, a bunch of girls. We were around 7, 8 girls, and n number of boys. But she was happy. She said that I am happy seeing there are at least 8 girls today, because she also did her law in her past days. She said when I was doing law, there were just 2 girls in my entire college. So at least we have increased that number from having 8 to 10 girls in a class of 60 students, from 2 girls in the entire college. And when we come to the practice area, it's not easy. Especially if I tell you, like I worked for the Delhi police. My boss was a sir, he was a male member. I was his female junior. So I had to deal with the Delhi police on daily basis, because I had to collect the status report and file in the high courts and everything. So I had faced this thing many a times, that the police people are saying that maybe you won't understand what we are saying, so it's better we directly talk to your boss. So I was like, it's not that. I am also a lawyer. He's a lawyer. Whatever you will say, I will understand. You have to have that trust on me. But there were some senior police officials. They directly said, no, no, ma'am. It's better we talk to the sir. So I said, okay, fine, talk to sir. Then sir, but my boss, uh, he did a very good thing for me. He paved that way for me. He directly said, no, you will have to deal with her and then come to me. So this is a personal experience that I had on first hand. I'm sure there are many, many other women facing the same issues. So when we see, like, it is said that Delhi High Court is the best. Delhi courts are the best to practice at. The system is the most organized. But in other places, especially in trial courts, women are not given any importance. If especially if you're standing against a senior lawyer or a popular lawyer of that trial court, then judges will say, oh, maybe you are a woman, maybe you don't know much. Whatever the other senior lawyer is saying, he knows better than you, because just because he's a male. And this problem especially comes in the criminal cases. So if
Yeah.
you're a woman practicing in a woman lawyer practicing in the criminal field, it's very tough. That is why I think we have only one senior advocate in the country, I must not say, but yeah, who's specifically dedicated to the criminal is Mrs. Senior Advocate Rebecca Mammon, ma'am. She is the only one in the industry, being a senior advocate, designated advocate, and a criminal lawyer, and a woman. Because it's not easy. They don't take you seriously. They feel that how will you deal with the criminals, as if a male lawyer knows something else than what
Yes.
we know. So
Yeah.
that problem is still there. We might have evolved, but we haven't evolved completely. So that issue still exists. We still face the same problems, that you don't know, she doesn't know, he knows. A male lawyer, maybe having less work experience than me, standing in the court, will get more respect by certain judges as compared to what I will get because I'm a female. So these issues are there. They need to be worked upon. But honestly, in Delhi, we face lesser issues as compared to what we face in other parts of the country.
Yeah.
In Delhi, it's more of equality. We have many, many women lawyer practicing in Delhi. If you see courts of UP, Bihar, or Bengal, you hardly see women lawyers there. That is like a completely male dominated society, because they don't let women come and put up their case in the courts. It's like women are restricted to family practices, matrimonial laws, and the other fields, major fields, are being captured by the men. So that issue is still there, and we must try. And I think Supreme Court is doing something about it. That is why this year they have elevated many female lawyers as the senior advocates. And it's been done after, I think, a decade or so, many years. It's been done that so many female lawyers have been elevated at once to be the senior advocates.
And we have
So
also got about that, or there was an order by the Supreme Court that women reservation in the bar councils,
yes, for the bar, yes, for the
bar
just
membership, bar
bar membership,
registration
yeah.
of oh,
Yes, that
membership.
order has also come. So
Membership, the council membership. council holders, actually, the members.
Yes, yes. Yes, the administration of the Bar Association.
The
Yes.
first time they brought about a law where there would be reservation of women in the profession.
In the election process.
Yes.
Yes.
The
Yes,
seats
yes.
are reserved, yeah.
Yes, initially it was just one lady member executive that was reserved, but now it is increased.
Priya
So,
Hindorani was the first one ever to become an SCBA member,
yeah.
if I remember correctly.
Yes, yes, yes. The first lady, and she's the first lady as the vice president of SCBA, first women vice president. Yes, yes. So changes are they are trying to bring. It will take time. I hope, and since a
No,
lot of
but
things
then,
have
another
changed.
point to be noted here is that the lack of support system from the families.
Family, yes.
Because
The
once you're
mentality
married,
is if the
it's
girl
like
is a
a
lawyer,
death knell for the profession, especially women. It's a death knell. I mean,
yes,
there's not, because somehow they feel that if you are bahu or your daughter-in-law
yes,
is
yes.
a lawyer,
You
they
cannot be
just
a practicing lawyer.
she will not take care of my son, or she will not do this, or she will not do that. You just typecast into it. So it's up to the new generation to break that
Break
mold.
that chain. Yes, yes.
It's not easy.
That mentality has to be changed. Only then can the vast gap can be balanced out actually. The family mentality. I still remember
A lot of
when I
practicing
was
lawyers up to a certain stage, and then they all leave.
leave. Yes, yes,
All leave. They
absolutely
all
they leave. In even in my initial days, I remember people around me, my extended family, and everybody used to tell me, "Oh, you are going for law. How will you get married? Nobody will marry you. We know such woman. We know such person. She is not married. She's this." So I said, "It's okay. It's okay. I will find somebody, and if not, then probably my destiny." But just because I'm a lawyer and just because I want to get married, I should stop studying. So this is a very, very common issue. Girls do get into college, they take the degree, but they do not practice. They don't go either for the corporate or litigation or any aspect of law. Their parents will be more than happy if they go for a management degree after law and then get a job in an MNC like a proper manager thing or
They
something
prefer them
like that.
going in-house.
Yeah, in
Yeah,
house.
because
Probably
it's a
how
9 to 6 job.
9 to 6 job.
Yeah.
Yes,
Probably
yes.
how Divya ma'am just mentioned earlier, like, no, there's no work-life balance. Probably that's the underlining issue there.
But then if you see there's no work-life balance in a big MNC also.
Yeah.
If you have to be successful in your managerial career, if you
That
see
those
interviews
ma'am, those days are over when there
over,
is a
yeah.
balance in
There is
management.
no concept as
There is
balance,
no
as Indira
management.
Nui
There
rightly
is no
says in
balance
all her
anywhere.
interviews. There is no balancing. You
Yeah,
cannot balance.
we have 90-hour work days in the future slotted for us by big honchos. We are all done for.
There is no work life balance concept in any of the industry. If you totally see you being teachers, I don't think so you also have very cut short of hours that no school is closed, the work is closed. It doesn't work like that anymore. So but the
Yeah, on a
mentality,
Monday evening, you are here at 7
you
o'clock.
are
So
here with us. Same na. So it's like
yeah.
the mentality has to change that if you study law you pursue it also, but that mentality also has to change that if the
Should
girl
not
is
give
coming.
up. I would urge the girls who are attending the session right now that don't give up.
Give
You
up.
will be under a lot of pressure. You will face a lot of strife, but don't give up. If you really want to become a lawyer and you would really want to pursue do it at any cost, because it's your life. There is no two ways about it. Don't give it up. If you
Absolutely.
really sincerely feel that you can be a good lawyer and you are happy in the profession and you are finding some joy in the work that you do not give up your hopes and dreams for anything or anyone.
See,
That's
being a lawyer is not easy, but then it's very rewarding also. It's very self satisfying if you like being a lawyer. It is at the end of the day. If I take my personal case, I also took a break when I had my twins because managing twins in litigation is like two
yeah.
poles apart things. I took a break, but I joined back. I had that support from my family. My husband is also a lawyer. So I had that support. I agree. But still, if not litigation, maybe if you want to join back, you can go to corporate life or as an in-house counsel, but be there in the area of law. Just don't leave the entire thing totally. You have to be there. And I would really like to, I don't know if how many parents are there, but please encourage your daughters to be lawyers. Girls make better lawyers than boys some days, I'm telling you,
They do, they do.
because the logical reasoning of girls are better than boys, and you need a lot of instant logic at times in courts.
Yeah.
So you must encourage your girls daughters for being to be lawyers.
Yeah,
Totally.
thank you, ma'am, for shedding light on the challenges faced by women in law. Anyway, thank you for motivating our girls also. So,
Thank
there is a need for progress and inclusivity, and good to know that things are changing for good. Yeah. So, my next question is to you, Divya ma'am. You've worked for 20 years in many areas of law. Is there a specific career path that gives you better chances of success for new lawyers?
See, there's no time and tested formula for that. So if you choose a path, like Parul said, you can actually the first 2, 3 years you can actually explore different avenues or with different fields of law that you want to practice in. Like you can go for litigation or in-house or corporate work or whatever that you want to do it. But if you then once you make up your mind or whichever field of law that you want to pursue, then you stick to it. It's very, very important because that steadiness and that dedication to one field of law and one aspect of law, because then you gain your experience, you learn the craft, you learn the law, you learn the nuances of the rules, applicable rules and judgments and everything. That helps you become a better lawyer. I know people who've just done IPR work, that is intellectual property work, all their life, nothing else. For 30 years, 40 years, they've just done IPR work and they're excellent at it. They would know the laws like the back of their hand. And there are litigating lawyers who can just, especially commercial litigation or arbitrations, who are like exclusive fields that they decided to pursue after a certain point in time. So I would urge every child who's joining law after they pass out to explore different aspects. Take 2, 3 years, try and test everything, and then choose a field. Okay, this is what I want to do, and then stick to it. Don't give it up. It will be tough. It is going to be difficult. It's a very uphill task.
It's very
Uh,
draining and exhausting also.
yes, but then you do become a good lawyer. If you want to
Yes.
go in-house. There's no harm in it. There is a certain comfort that comes with a in-house practice, because you you draw a salary, you have your days off, you have your yearly vacations, and you have different facilities that comes with being in-house. But if you are a litigating lawyer, then it comes with its own benefits of a different kind: more remuneration, more days off, more scheduled holidays, like that. But first 2, 3 years, I would urge everybody to try different fields. Don't just say that, oh, my
Don't
dad is a
restrict.
litigating lawyer, I'm going to do litigation.
No, yeah. You should not restrict yourself.
Don't restrict. Don't go and sit in your dad's chambers. That's not
No,
done.
you
Or your
in
uncle's chambers. Don't.
definitely not. I think the second generation lawyers should toil more than the first generation lawyers. They should not sit in the comfort of sitting in their dad's office and thinking, no, we'll get the client. You might get the client in your dad's name, but you might not be as good as your dad. So the point is retaining the clients, unless you won't make money. If your client goes away, then the client goes away. Papa ka naam bhi kharab, hamara naam bhi kharab. It will happen that way. So we don't want that, na. So it's like you should explore, like ma'am is saying, explore all the fields you can, especially girls, because many a times a point of time comes in your life that you don't want to be a litigating lawyer anymore, especially if you have families, because then giving time to your kids is always compromised. So try the in-house counsel thing, like ma'am said, and it's not bad, but be there, be into the legal field in any which way you want to be.
Yeah, thank you, Parul ma'am and Divya ma'am. It's inspiring to hear your stories. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, thank you, Parul ma'am and Divya ma'am. It's inspiring to hear how finding one's niche can unlock both personal fulfillment and professional success.
So my final question is for Ms. Parul. Could you elaborate on what is your course of action for preparation when a client approaches a case?
So the course of action that happens is that when the client comes, the first and the most important thing is listen attentively to whatever they have to say, to whatever the issue they have. Give them the ample amount of time to say whatever they have. It might be relevant, irrelevant, or it might be something they are saying out. Because when the client is coming to you, the client is at a very, very vulnerable stage. May it be a property case, may it be a rent case, a family matter, criminal matter, whatever it is, the client is going through different emotional stages and it's very vulnerable. They come. So sometimes they'll say some things which are not relevant to me being a lawyer, that I don't have to listen to it. So sometimes you have to be a lawyer as well as the counselor for your client at the same time. So you need to have that patience that, okay, first meeting is you tell me whatever you have, whatever issues going on. Okay, be your emotional self a little bit also. But eventually, you cut down. The client also gets little comfort when they start trusting their lawyer that, okay, now my case is in good hands. So we take the information, we prepare the brief accordingly. We have as much meetings as our clients wants to have before the hearing to satisfy the client that, okay, we are going the right path and you don't have to worry. We are there, things are taken care of. uh, you are not in the wrong hands. So this is the general process that we go through. Then we file the case, and the hearing keeps on going. uh, the clients are there for the hearing. Then after hearing, they ask many many questions to you, why the judge, because they are not known with the legal jargons, so they don't understand everything that is happening in the court. So you have to explain and translate whatever the judge is saying into a layman's language to your client, to make it easy for the client to understand what is happening in his or her case. So this is how a client and the case preparation and the case argument and the everything goes on in the litigation industry. In the corporate industry, it's mostly like you have to prepare the agreements, but you need to know what your client wants from those agreements, the needs of the client and everything, and you have to put it into the agreement very nicely, like in proper manner, covering all the issues, all the problems the client have, and whatever they want if in their agreement with the other party. So it is basically listening to them so that you don't miss out anything. And the best part is ask them to write the story either on a mail or a paper, whatever suits them, so that you have everything in the written form. And you can't say ki, oh, I forgot this, I forgot that. Let's be very clear. This is the story you gave us. We'll draft the case according to the story you gave us. So that is how it goes. But you have to explain the entire legal thing to your clients in a very layman language. Sometimes the clients are educated enough, but they're not educated enough to understand everything going on in the courtrooms. And sometimes they are educated enough to understand everything going in the courtrooms because they Google the things. They read themselves beforehand, and sometimes they try to educate the lawyers also. Google is saying this, Google is saying that. Why are you saying this? Why are you saying so? You have to deal with all kinds of people. Some people come thinking they know more than the lawyer knows because Google is saying something. Some people come with the fact that no, we don't know anything. Yeah, so just everything is in your hands, you decide. So every kind of client is there. You have to be prepared to be dealing with every kind of client. You cannot lose your tempers with the clients also, because as ma'am says, they pay your bills. So if you lose the temper, they'll not give the money, and if they don't give the money, then you don't pay the bills. So being a lawyer is a very, very, very testing job. I'm telling you. You cannot lose your temper in
I
the court.
hope
You
so.
cannot lose your
I
temper
hope.
with the client.
it's a
Sorry?
tightrope walk, right, Parul? Like,
Yes, it is tightrope walk. Actually, don't think it's a cakewalk because you're earning lots money. It's not. The money is the last part. The the entire process is very tough. You actually being a lawyer teaches you to be a patient human because you cannot get angry on clients. You cannot get angry on judges. So you need to learn how, because clients, if something goes little haywire in the court, the client will come jump upon you. आपने तो बोला था ऐसे होगा, you said it'll be like that, this way, it didn't happen that way, judges said something else. So you will have to take that backlash of the client there also. And if the judge is not in the good mood, you'll have to take the backlash of the judges also. So it'll make you pretty patient in life. And
so
but
taking
that's how
forward
it
from
is.
what Parul has said, so that's where my other extracurricular activities of cooking and baking and all come in, because they're very therapeutic, you know. So I would
Yes.
urge everybody. I mean, I'm sure Parul also has her own hobbies, and when she does, like when gets everything gets too much to handle. So you need to divert your mind from that, because sometimes you have to step away from the files, step away from the drafts, step away from the clients to regroup and recuperate. And most of the time, we don't have the luxury of traveling out for a holiday or, taking a break. So these kind of activities, the pursuing any art form would really help you, you know. And that's, I think everybody does that. Like there are lawyers who read a lot, so
There are lawyers who play just to get the
yeah, they
heat
play
out.
golf,
Yeah.
tennis, they play chess, something to keep their mind afresh, because
Yes.
otherwise it's very difficult to do this day in and day out without a break. So the break may not be like, you come home, you switch off. That doesn't really happen, because the
Yeah.
clients may call you in the middle of the night or something or something or something. So then there would be something that you need to do. Like if you're good at playing any instruments, keep continue to play your instruments. If you like dancing or singing, do pursue that. Don't give up any of your hobbies only because you've chosen to become a lawyer. Don't do that. You have to have a diversion. So
Yes.
for me, it's I do write articles for magazines, and I cook and I bake. I mean, I find it extremely therapeutic, because there's a structure to it where, nobody's telling you what to do, what to do, what to do. You're just in your own space. You're
Yes.
not thinking about anything else. You're just in your own space, and then you follow the recipe and you get an end product.
Yes.
So that kind of constructive diversions really help you calm your mind down, and then you go back, because you have to dive back. And law is like, to sum it up, you jump into the deep end of the pool. You're not given a life buoy. You pushed into the deep end of the pool. Now either you
And
swim
you
or you.
learn how to swim to come back.
So yeah, so everybody should have one hobby to that they don't give up.
Yes. It is very important to keep you stress free, especially in today's era when stress is like a common cough and cold to us.
Yes.
So you
So
really need to have a hobby in life.
Thank you, ma'am, Divya ma'am and Parul ma'am. It's great to understand, with such tightrope walk that you have on day-to-day basis, you still take out time or identify what your ways of diversions are, or how you can, de-stress yourself and get back to it, right? To take that dive in the deep ocean. So thank you so much, ma'am.
So here we conclude our question and answer session. Ma'am, we have received few queries from the audience. I would like to take this opportunity to ask both of you. The first query is, in case of no nomination in a bank account, how should we claim it?
you
Any
need,
one of you could answer.
if is there a will? Question number one.
So this is a bank account. In case there's no nomination in a bank account, how should we claim it?
If the person whose bank account was that has made a will, then your life is sorted. Then you just need a succession certificate for it. You have to go to court. You have to approach the court for a succession
Yes.
certificate or a legal headship certificate, depending on where you are. So if there is no will, then that is the way to go for. Otherwise,
You can't have it.
you can't have
Yeah.
it. You
Oh,
need
There
to
is no
approach
other
the
way.
court. You have to approach the court for getting a succession certificate.
okay. Okay, so the second query is, in absence of a will, how can one claim property?
It depends upon what relationship you are with the
The
property
deceased.
holder. If you're kids, if you're the if you're the spouse, yeah, it's easier because it gets transferred in your name. But if you're kids, then you will have to again obtain the succession certificate and get it transferred in your name, showing that we are the legal heirs of the deceased person or whoever it is. So that is it. But again, approaching the court, you will have to approach the court for that.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Parul ma'am and Divya ma'am. Our next segment, moving on to our next segment, it is an interesting rapid fire round, which our students Parvati and Nivan will take over from here.
Okay.
Hi, Parvati.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. I'm Parvati Suresh from grade 11, and now we'll be moving on to a quick and fun rapid fire round. We have two incredible lawyers with us here today. So, without further ado, let's begin our rapid fire. I'll be asking you a series of exciting questions. So, let's start with Divya, ma'am. Are you ready, ma'am?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, great. So, without wasting a minute, let's begin with the first question. If you weren't a lawyer, what would you rather be?
I would have been an artist in France.
That seems like a great profession.
Yes, I wanted to. I got through it. My mother didn't let me go. Okay, moving on.
My next question is, we generally see lawyers always in white or black. If the choice is given to you, what colors would you like to give the lawyers?
Fuchsia pink.
Oh,
Same here.
that's a very vibrant
Same
choice.
here.
Moving on to the next question. What were your favorite subjects in law school?
British history.
That surely seems very fun. On to the next question. Ma'am, could you share a unique memory with us from your college days?
Unique memory. Oh, I participated in all the art festivals and got to dance on stage every time. So I was happy doing that.
Sure, that must have struck a chord in your mind.
Yes, it did.
My next question is, what did you do with your first paycheck?
I sent money to my grandmother.
That's really nice of you. On to the next question. Do you ever catch yourself criticizing a courtroom scene in a TV show or movie? Do unrealistic scenes get you crazy?
Yes, of course.
Of
Because
course.
I can imagine how frustrating that might be. Movies and shows do love to exaggerate.
they do. And way beyond normal standards.
Last but not the least, ma'am, since you said you love cooking and baking, what's the one dish you would like to cook after a long day?
Long day. I like to bake a cake.
Oh,
Chocolate cake. Yeah.
that sounds delicious. And that brings us to the end of my rapid fire round with Divya ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for your quick and fun responses. I hope you enjoyed the rapid fire round as much
Yes,
as
I
I
did,
did.
Parvati. Thank you.
I now hand it over to Nivan.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Nivan Sahai from grade 11, and I will be conducting the round 2 of the rapid fire round with Parul ma'am. I hope you're ready for the exciting round, ma'am.
Yes, I am.
Sure, so let's begin. My first question: what is that one common misconception people have about a lawyer?
The common misconception I would believe is that people think lawyers are liars. We are not liars.
I mean, I can see how people might think that
Yeah,
we
they do
sometimes
because
have to
they say
deceive.
that, yeah,
Yeah.
people believe that we are liars, and just because we try and
Lie. They're honest people.
manipulate a little of things in court, but we don't lie.
Reasonable lie.
Yeah.
Just to, yeah, okay. The second question: If you could be a character in a superhero movie, which one would you be?
A superhero movie. I would say Spider-Man because my son loves Spider-Man. Otherwise, I really
That's
have
sweet.
no much knowledge of superheroes.
I'm
Or
going to
maybe
be Supergirl. I'm going to be Supergirl. I'm a Superman fan, so I'm going to be Supergirl.
if Wolverine is a superhero, I would love to be Wolverine.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic. All right. The third question. What is that one thing that doesn't fail to make you smile? Even after, say, a long day at work?
My kids. I'm
Oh,
sorry, but yeah, my
that's
kids.
sweet. That's
So,
sweet.
though having twins is very annoying at times, but at the
Yeah.
end of the day, they are the ones who can make me smile.
Yeah, it's the little things that bring the biggest smiles among
True,
people.
true, absolutely.
Yeah. This is a very interesting question. It's my personal question. Do you ever get called upon to give legal advice at family gatherings? What's the
Oh,
weirdest
every
thing
time.
someone has asked you?
Every time I go to family gatherings, they always have something or the other. Sometimes it's even from the fields I don't know anything about. I try and tell them I don't know, I'm not an expert, but then they say no, no, but
Yeah.
you're a lawyer, you should know everything. So this is a very common misconception that a lawyer can know about every field. It cannot be. We
Yeah,
only know about the field we have practiced in. So
yeah.
yeah,
But
this
it's great that your family appreciates having a legal expert among them.
yes, I am the only
Yeah,
one, so that is also
yeah,
a plus point for me. So whenever I
yeah.
go to gatherings, they're like, "Oh, hamari vakeel aa gayi," types and all that. A lawyer daughter has come, and so this is definitely a plus point for me.
That's amazing. Ma'am, earlier in the session, you have highlighted the importance of reading and how it's a continuous process. Could you please name a book that every aspiring lawyer must read in their initial days?
Uh, Book in initial days. I am the wrong person, I think, because
And
yeah, Divya would be the
Divya
correct
ma'am has an answer.
this because I
Roses in December by MC Chagla.
Roses in December.
Roses
All
in
right.
December. He was one of the
Being
greatest literary legal minds of our country. So you should read that.
all right. Being an aspiring lawyer myself, I would surely read that. I
You
would
should.
make it a point. Yes. Ma'am, moving on to the last question.
yes, please.
What's since you yourself are a travel enthusiast, what's the favorite travel destination? Not many
Spiti Valley.
vacations, but
It's Spiti Valley. It's a one
oh
time,
wow,
definitely one. Matlab, if you can go, you must go. Though it's tough to go, the roads are not
yeah.
convenient enough and everything. But it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to. It's beautiful.
Oh wow, that sounds incredible. I'll make it a
It's
point to
very
visit.
pretty. People don't go much because it's not easier to go,
Yeah, yeah.
but it is very, very beautiful.
All right, ma'am. This question brings us to the end of the rapid fire round.
Thank
Your
you.
thoughts have surely inspired the viewers and all the budding lawyers out there. Thank you,
Hopefully.
ma'am, for your thought-provoking responses. Now, I would like to call upon Seema ma'am for delivering the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Nivan. What an electrifying, exciting round it was. I'm sure our students love hearing them. Now that we've come to the end of this program, I would like to take this opportunity to present the vote of thanks. On behalf of the organizing committee, Delhi Public School, Bangalore East, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Ms. Divya Nair and Ms. Parul Mehra. Your passion and enthusiasm added a vibrant and captivating dimension to the event, making it a resounding success. First and foremost, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to our management, our principal, Dr. Manila Carvalho, and our vice principal, Ms. Preeti Suta, for providing a platform where our students can benefit and thus cater to their field of interest. I thank Ms. Vinita Desai, HOD Commerce Department, for organizing and facilitating this episode of the talk show. I also thank Ms. Sonali Roy, HOD English Department, and Ms. Sioni Dikshit, English faculty, for the constant support and guidance. Lastly, I also thank Ms. Vikranti, HOD Computer Science Department, Ms. Pallavi and Ms. Rashmi, Computer Science faculty for technical support. The talk show would not have been possible without your collective support and involvement. We hope this event has been informative. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful